Hi, I'm Sue Gillingham, Executive Director of the Coronado Chamber of Commerce, and today I have some really good information about two SBA loans that I would like to share with small businesses. The first is called the Paycheck Protection Program, or 3P, and the second is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or often called the EIDL. So what's the importance of this to our small businesses? There are 30 million small businesses in the United States, representing half of our gross domestic product, or about $10 to $11 trillion. Who is eligible for these loans? If you are self-employed, if you are an independent small business, if you're a sole proprietor, all of the, and most nonprofits, private nonprofits are also eligible. There's unprecedented leeway in the SBA loan process. This is not the process that you may have encountered in the past. So let's talk about the first loan. The Paycheck Protection Program, or 3P loan. There's $349 billion set aside in the CARES Act for this type of loan. Up to 8 weeks of your 3P loan will be forgiven by the federal government. That is a grant. You can apply for both the 3P loan and an Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or EIDL, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. You must use the 3P loan for payroll, and you cannot double dip with the EIDL for payroll. If EIDL is used for rent, fixed debts, accounts payable, and extraordinary costs caused by the pandemic, then you can apply for both loans. The 3P loan application is now available. Make sure your form is current as of April 6th, 2020. There are numerous versions out there, but apply no later than June 30th of 2020. The loan cap, up to 2.5 times your monthly payroll wages plus California employment tax, plus an additional 25% of that amount. If you're asking for $10,000, 25% of that can be used for things other than payroll. You can ask for a loan up to $10 million. The goal is for business to use funding within 8 weeks of receipt to keep your employees on payroll. Then the loan will be forgiven. It becomes a grant if you've used that 8 weeks of dollars for your employee payroll. If you don't spend all the money in 8 weeks, you have the option to return the remainder, or you have up to 2 years to pay for it at 1% interest. There are no prepayment penalties, and payments are deferred for 6 months, although interest will accrue. How do you get one of these loans? You go through your personal bank or credit union if at all possible, because you have a higher priority when you are a customer of that institution. Get the application and instructions through your lender, and the lender must be an accredited SBA lender. Lenders have their own internal process, so timing may vary from one bank to the next. No collateral is required and no personal guarantee. Small businesses and sole proprietorships can apply now, as of April 3rd, 2020. But starting on April 10th, 2020, independent contractors and the self-employed can apply. The application is extremely simple. You need to have 12 months of payroll data on hand and last year's tax return. But of special note, all employees must reside in the United States. Non-residents' payroll must be excluded from your calculations of your annual payroll data. Finally, it is illegal for anyone to charge to process your loan. Avoid those scams. Let's move on to the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or EIDL. This is when business is unable to pay ordinary and necessary operating expenses. It can include payroll if you're not applying for a 3P loan, rent, fixed debt payments, accounts payable, extraordinary expenses caused by the disaster. EIDLs do not replace lost revenue, lost profits, or fund expansion. Good news, there's no fees or points. Your interest rate is 3.75%, up to $2 million in working capital, with up to 30 years to repay. If you're a nonprofit, your interest rate is 2.75%. Payment is automatically deferred for 1 year, so the first payment would not be due until 2021. Funding times after completing your application are 25 to 35 business days. How do you apply? Do it online if at all possible. There are no physical customer service centers available. The required documents are all available online. In addition, you do need a complete copy of your most recent federal income tax return. If you hear back from the SBA that they need more information, such as a P&L or your monthly sales figures, get it to them as soon as possible, especially within 7 days. Remember that the process is you are dealing directly with the federal government. The first step is to apply online or by mail if that's required by you. And the second is the loan processing decision is made. The SBA reviews your credit, determines your eligibility, estimates your loss, works with you on what the recommendation for the loan amount is and what the next steps are. The loan is closed, the funds are dispersed. Now, the SBA can provide $10,000 cash advance within 3 days to serve as a grant if you're not doing a 3P loan. If the money is used for payroll, your mortgage, your lease, increased costs due to supply chain disruption, but again, not for lost revenue. If your loan is more than $10,000, the remaining disbursement will occur later. And finally, a case manager will be assigned to you for future communication. If you have applied for an EIDL and are denied, you are still eligible for the $10,000 grant if you have not received funding through a 3P. If you have applied for an EIDL and been turned down, apply again because the terms keep changing. So here we are at the end of the presentation. Here are the SBA contacts. They are available through their website, their service center, email, but be patient. Remember, there are 30 million small businesses out there trying to get these loans. And finally, the Chamber of Commerce is here for you. Stay informed. Things are changing rapidly. Here are the Chamber contacts. We will be pushing out information through social media and through eBlast. If you are not on our eBlast list, please email me, sue@coronadochamber.com, with your contact information, and I will gladly add you. And there is a wealth of information on our website, coronadochamber.com, under coronavirus and also SBA loans. So stay patient, stay well, and stay informed. Thank you.